And welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here, checking out the series. You know what to do. Like what you see, what you hear, hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with your favorite artists. And today I get to talk with an absolute legend that's been a part of my life soundtrack, Mr. Ronnie Dunn. Hello, sir.
Holy cow, that was a mouthful, man. Were you reading that, or are you already conditioned just being in this business so long that you can pull it off like that intro?
All the first part's right here, but the last part, that's true. That's all real. So
much appreciated. Glad to be here.
Yeah, you got a brand new solo album called 100 Proof Neon. That has been said, it's said in the press release, I don't know how you'd like to word this, but this finds you sort of reaching back for a sound, some of that 80s and 90s vibe. If that's actually the case, what did you want to go for and why?
Well, a few songs came to like along early on and set the tone, like Broken Neon Hearts, which was the first song we put out, and the Honky Tonk Town came behind that. And then from there, the momentum, and I've been wanting to do this kind of record forever. It's just so much fun to sit down and do it on your own without that, record label conference room, whatever meeting you kind of have to have. Even Willie did it. So funny, people go, no, you're Willie enough. You got to pick whatever you want to. There was no, he did not today, But this one was just, it's just purely the vibe and stuff that I grew up playing, coming through the clubs in Oklahoma and Texas. I would sneak out of college. I went to one of those religious colleges out in West Texas. It's very conservative, and you weren't allowed to go out and even go to clubs and things like that. So we would sneak out and book these small towns outside Abilene and do the VFWs and play for the door. You play there for like 2 or 3 weeks, and suddenly maybe you might get enough gas to come home, right? But what it taught me from the ground up, I mean, it's its own university, is that you have to get people to dance. You have to allow them to have a good time, and if you can get them up to dance, whether it's the cowboy that doesn't dance or whatever. I mean, it was a test tube for us on stage. We're seeing it all. We're seeing people do the craziest things, and so, but the majority of it was really based around the cultural dancing in that part of the country. The two-step, the waltzes, shuffles, all that. And they all had something to say. It's kind of a combination. To me, my fantasy was going to a club with a great country band that kind of gave you that Rolling Stones feeling,
right.
And just trying to find a way to cross that. And so a lot of the initial stuff that we did, and a lot of later on stuff that we did with Brooks and Dunn was searching for that union of Merle Haggard meets Mick Jagger.
That's a good little union right now. That's served you well. I heard you say that in another interview that the bartenders only cared if the crowd danced and drank.
Yeah, it didn't matter if you were a good band or not. It's like he who at the end of the night was responsible for the largest beer tab as a band would get hired back.
Yeah. So that then like directly or automatically directs you as to what song you're writing, as to what song you're looking for in your collaborations from that point on? No,
it just heavily influences it. I don't know that it necessarily consciously dictates it, but it's well, here's something that's funny. Subconscious was not aware of it. Totally unprofessional. I finished the record and I bring it home for my wife Janine to hear the roughs, and she goes, "Every song on there has neon in it." She goes, "When are you going to get over that?" She goes, "Come on, people aren't going to listen to that stuff from here on out." It used to be like every song had dancing in it or something like this. But I sit there and she was right. And of course, I bucked her. I was like, it's just what I want to do, and she was correct about it. So I thought about it long and hard, and I found a cheap way out. I said, "I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll own it. I'll just call it 100 proof neon, and it is what it is.
Well, there's a bit of bingo that you can do on this. Neon is in almost every song. Whiskey, jukeboxes,
Yeah.
bars. I think every song, but maybe The Blade, if I have that right, mentions, if not all of those, at least one or two of those. Like, it becomes a concept album in a way. Do you look at it like that?
Well, I try to get away from the obvious pickup thing, which you're going to get grief on anyway. But and like, gosh, I just jump right over cold beer and go right to whiskey. So I don't there's that. Makes it much edgier. Thinking back. So I don't know, what was the question.
Just talking about you do have a, well, I guess I was asking, like, if you come to think of it sort of in a concept album that way, because you do have such consistency with certain subjects, words.
Yeah, there's a thread of that, and that was conscious. You're right. Like, the idea of bringing back twin fiddles, and incorporating them into the sound. And of course, I've always had my favorite guitar player in the world is Brent Mason, and he's just a Telecaster, string bending, hopping, Hall of Famer, just unbelievable. Yeah. So I get him in there. Gary Morris on steel, who plays in the band, but he's a West Coast guy, but lives in Nashville, but has played with us for years. And you get the right guys in there, cast that band, and bingo, we're right back in the bars.
There's a lot of West Coast guys now living in Nashville. The great flood from LA. Have you noticed that's like had its own influence on the town and the scene these days?
Yeah, I don't know. Joey Moy came down from Canada to produce stuff with Big Loud, and I mean, his reference to music was not country. He'll tell you flat out. And he's doing a record right now with Jake Worthington, who's on the song Honky Tonk Town, a new kid from Texas, Houston. But his guy's sounds like Lefty Frizzell. I mean, wow. For real, it's crazy. And it's just a good old country boy. When he's not welding and hauling cattle somewhere, he's out playing in a beer joint in Texas. He's got a record deal, and here he comes.
Well, it does. This album, regardless of the subjects, it's interesting that it sort of comes after two records of looking back in different ways, with the Brooks and Dunn record and how you repurpose those songs, with your covers record, which I absolutely loved, by the way. Some great stuff on there. Do you find that it's and using kind of the purpose that we're talking about with this one, as you are looking back to those days, do you find it's a time of reflection in your writing and in your work?
Oh, yeah, there is. I mean, with this record specifically?
Well, this record coming after sort of, doing a record of your favorite rocks or songs, and then the Brooks and Dunn, like that one, yeah.
Yeah, well, the rock thing I've been wanting to do forever, and didn't think. I mean, literally, I would have been happy had it just stayed, here at the house. So I could put it on in the car or whatever, drive, do whatever. But I love the way the band came out again. Those are country musicians playing that stuff, and they pulled it off in a lot of cases. But a lot of my earlier stuff, like playing around with a solo deal, and I don't really mean playing around with it, because B&D gets the nod, obviously. But it was just it's just getting the chance to sit down and do what I love. I like to do. It's kind of get it out of me. I can remember sitting in an A&R meeting, in an official, a round table deal with record label executives, and they were well intended, it was, but just going, I can't do this anymore, y'all. Can't do it. I can't be told I can't do songs. That's just because there's something, sounds country about the fiddle. I'm just gonna go do my own deal, and then see what happens.
Well, look what happened.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are podcasting.
No, it doesn't look like it's been a bad road on that side of things for you, right?
Well, it's
here.
fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, and further on in this record too. I mean, I mentioned the Blade a minute ago.
Yeah.
That's such a beautifully written song
Oh,
right there.
yeah.
What's the story with that one?
That's a once in a lifetimer there. I really do think that songs like that come along. We're talking about like the dance, that quality stuff. I Hope You Dance, Leon Womack got, but it was pitched to me a couple of years ago, and pitched to Ashley Monroe on the same day. So I mean, I heard it and said, "Ooh, let's nail it, nail it down." And someone said, "Well, Ashley got it first, and she's actually going to make it the title of her album." And I know and love Ashley, so that's good. You're have fun. But anyway, it's her record's been out long enough to where if anything, it'll just draw attention to it. I go back to the days when I said like earlier that people like Tammy Wynette, Christopherson, Cash, Willie, they would all, if there was a good song that came along, everyone would honor that song. You could record it for whatever reason, and then I don't know why that stopped. I'm sure it's different label economics and revenue involved. I don't know.
Yeah, trends. I mean, it is
New
generations don't treat the archives the same way.
But I don't know why. Just
right.
what it is.
Well, you get a song like that, and I started thinking about, if I don't know if you're ever on your quest for like, the perfect heartbreak songs, even, stuff like that. But I liked what you said in another interview too. You said, that I think someone had hero mentor, I don't know, but they had said to you, no matter how sad it is, you have to leave a ray of hope.
Yes, that was our first producer, Don Cook, and good friend. When I first came to town, I'd never co-written, and we were in the first or second section with he and Kix and I. He said, of course, everything you want to do when you're thinking country at that point was write a sad song. They're easier to write, they really are. But Don goes, I'll tell you some advice right now, whether you take it or not, I'll offer it. If you can leave a ray of hope and positivity at the end of the tunnel, it always helps. It's kind of a way to get the message in that you're heartbroken, but you're gonna make your way out of it.
Yeah.
You're an optimist. You're an optimistic, heartbroken guy.
It's quite different than like the late 50s and early 60s when you'd have the car wreck songs like Last Kiss that it's like, nope, they're dead.
I can remember sitting in the backseat of my parents' car. We were driving somewhere in New Mexico. The desert stared out the window. It's like that. But we were out on a date on Saturday, and killed in the car wreck, dude. There
were so many of those too. That, speaking of trends, that's an interesting trend. Like, we're all gonna write, you're gonna die in a car, a motorcycle wreck, or something, but you're gonna die in this song.
That's it. That exactly. It's like, what in the hell did that? Geez, started that one.
You mentioned some collabs on here, and I want to bring them up real quick. Parker McCollum, Jake Worthington. What's the significance of teaming up with these fellas?
No, it's their voices. Jake sounds like Lefty Frizzell, Flat Dust, and he's working on a record with Big Cloud Records right now with Joy Moy producing it. It's going to be interesting to see how it comes out. But he is a hardcore country singer. Yeah. It's like when he's not, I don't know, when he's not singing and stuff, I think he's hauling cattle from Lubbock to Amarillo or chasing tumbleweed somewhere. But he's really a character and a great guy. Parker, again, just listen to voices. He has a real Texas thing. I mean, he could be an old school country singer any day, at any time. But Parker walks in, he looks like he's just walked out of GQ in a t-shirt or playing baseball somewhere, and pulls up in a hot black and white Corvette, comes upstairs and he goes, "What you got? What are we doing?" So I said, "I wrote this song." I said, "You're a Texan. I'm a Texan." Wrote this song called Road to Abilene. And it's actually about me leaving Abilene to go chase the music thing, and he jumped in there and did a great job.
Just got
Maybe
that.
better than me. It kind of makes me mad. I don't know. I'll bring his voice down in the mix.
About that, you've been doing if we could hear more about, because you got Perfect Pitch Publishing, speaking of voices,
Yeah.
and talking about these younger guys, like what are you doing with that, and what does that mean to the community?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I keep it small. I want it down to 4 or 5 max writers, So, and I have a big place downtown. It's not far from Music Row, but not on Music Row, and it's actually an old converted warehouse. And I can walk in the door and hear somebody over here writing country songs. I hear somebody over here writing rock LA sounding stuff, and I get inspired by them. They're all, young, in their early 20s, for the most part, other than Tom. And he's, but it's fun, and you feed off that creativity, and it kind of hurts my feelings that they're not really asking me for a lot of advice yet. And when I do, you can kind of tell they're going, okay, thank you, you can leave now. But it's fun. It's fun. We get together and laugh and listen to everybody's songs and just shred them, and it's fun to do.
Yeah. Well, and creativity, you got a lot of that going on too. I read a little bit about the Lensman project.
Yeah, that's total fun. That's total, a hobby. But I'm surrounded by some really good, seasoned photographers that go, hey, turn your camera on. So
was that always part of you, or is that something you just picked up more recently?
I've been doing it for a long time. I had a house in Santa Fe for years, and I would sit outside and set my camera up and shoot sunsets that just went. They were different every day. Unreal, unbelievable. Just to and that gave me a general 101 feel for the camera. And then I started studying it, reading and chasing around. Then a buddy that had been a 20+ year veteran at Sports Illustrated moved back to town, and he was just wanting to get out and do some stuff, more fun and independent, away from assignment stuff. So we started traveling all over the place. We went to Ecuador. We sailed into to Cuba when Obama opened it up, and I've been all over the world. I mean, Alaska and a few other places, a lot of other places actually. And he's just kind of mentored me all along the way.
Yeah. Well, how cool! What just a hobby? Where a hobby will take you, if you let it.
Right. We just get, like everything else, we get carried away with it. Next thing you know, we're Galapagos on the ground shooting a lizard in the face.
It's incredible, and actually incredible that you find the time to do it. I mean, looking at all this, you've been, I don't know, how are you balancing the tour, like the Brooks and Dunn tour and the solo stuff? Like how's that working out for the rest of the year for you?
Well, I don't know. We're talking about that strategy right now. Just before you and I talked, we're still trying to hand it out. How that I can go out and justifiably promote this record, 100 Proof Neon, and do we did a live album with Brooks and Dunn that we're finishing up right now in the tour. So got to keep all that, hopefully running in sync and not watering down the other stuff. I don't know how it's going to work.
Well, the fact that you've even got these options, 30, 40 years into a career, that just goes to show what this music does and what the music means for everybody else, so.
Well, that's great to hear. And, I'm lucky. I feel so lucky. I truly do, to be here at this point. And, golly, just playing dress up, going out and singing.
Please keep singing and keep writing these songs, because 100 Proof Neon, it's so much fun to listen to. I can drink to it, I can dance to it, and that's doing all the tricks right there.
There you go. Hit, bang, boom, going to the bank.
I can cry to it too. That's the important part as well.
That'll even get me money. There you go. It's all good.
Ronnie, thanks so much for taking the time. This was such an honor and a pleasure to talk about this today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kyle. Thanks for your time, man.
All right.
Good to talk to you.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All 3 of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.